What if the deadliest disease on Earth could be weakened by something sitting in your kitchen right now? What if certain foods could actually help your body repair damaged DNA, cut off the blood supply that tumors need to survive, and activate hidden systems inside your immune system that scientists are only beginning to understand? For decades, cancer was treated like an unstoppable enemy, a genetic accident, a ticking time bomb. But today, a growing number of researchers are discovering something shocking. Your body may already contain powerful anti-cancer defenses, and food might be one of the keys that controls them. Not magic, not fake internet cures, not dangerous misinformation, real science, real studies, and discoveries that are changing how doctors think about cancer itself. Because cancer doesn't just appear overnight, it grows, it adapts, it feeds. And according to some researchers, certain foods may help starve it before it spreads. Tonight, we're diving deep into the science behind foods linked to DNA protection, inflammation reduction, immune activation, angiogenesis control, and cancer prevention. Some of these foods are probably already in your refrigerator. Others are so powerful that scientists have spent millions studying their compounds in laboratories around the world. But there's a problem. The modern diet may be doing the exact opposite. Every day, millions unknowingly consume foods that fuel inflammation, damage cells, weaken the immune system, and create the perfect environment for disease. And most people have absolutely no idea it's happening. So in this documentary, we're uncovering the shocking connection between DNA damage and cancer, how tumors secretly feed themselves, the foods researchers say may help slow cancer growth, the truth about sugar and cancer, why inflammation matters more than most people realize, the anti-cancer compounds hiding in everyday foods, and what science actually says about using nutrition to support long-term health. By the end of this video, you may never look at food the same way again. Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy deep health documentaries backed by science, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay with us until the end, because the final section may completely change how you think about disease, aging, and survival itself. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Invisible War Inside Your Body. Every second of every day, your body is fighting a war you cannot see. Trillions of cells constantly divide, repair themselves, communicate, and die in carefully controlled cycles. Inside each cell is DNA, the blueprint of life. Your DNA contains the instructions that tell your body how to function, how to grow, how to heal, how to replace damaged cells. But here's the terrifying truth. Your DNA is under attack constantly. From pollution, stress, smoking, radiation, chronic inflammation, poor sleep, processed food, alcohol, environmental toxins, even normal metabolism creates damage over time. Scientists estimate that every cell in your body experiences thousands of DNA-damaging events every single day. Thousands. And most of the time, your body repairs that damage automatically. You have astonishing repair systems built into you. Tiny molecular machines constantly scan your DNA looking for errors. If they find damage, they attempt to fix it. But when those repair systems fail, mutations begin to accumulate. And sometimes, one mutated cell survives, then multiplies, then evolves, then becomes cancer. Cancer is not one disease. It's hundreds of diseases. But most cancers share one terrifying ability. They learn how to survive. They ignore signals telling them to die. They evade the immune system. They hijack blood vessels, and they consume enormous amounts of energy to keep growing. That's why scientists today are becoming increasingly interested in a powerful question. Can lifestyle and nutrition influence the environment cancer needs to survive? And the answer appears to be yes. Not perfectly, not absolutely, but significantly, because cancer cells behave differently from healthy cells. And understanding those differences could help explain why certain foods are now attracting enormous scientific attention. Chapter 2: How Cancer Eats. In the 1920s, a scientist named Otto Warburg made a discovery that shocked the scientific world. He noticed something unusual about cancer cells. Even when oxygen was available, cancer cells consumed glucose at extremely high rates, much higher than normal cells. This became known as the Warburg effect. Cancer cells are energy hungry. They burn fuel aggressively to support rapid growth. Now, this discovery led to decades of misunderstanding online. You may have heard people say, sugar feeds cancer. The truth is more complicated. All cells use glucose. Your brain uses glucose. Your muscles use glucose. tumors. You cannot simply starve cancer by never eating carbohydrates. But researchers do believe that excessive sugar consumption, obesity, insulin resistance, and chronic metabolic dysfunction may contribute to environments that help cancer thrive. And that's where diet becomes important, because food influences inflammation, hormones, blood sugar, insulin, oxidative stress, immune function, obesity risk, gut bacteria, cellular repair systems. These systems are deeply connected to cancer risk, and modern diets may be disrupting all of them simultaneously. Ultra-processed foods now dominate grocery stores worldwide. Artificial additives, refined sugars, industrial oils, excess calories, low fiber. Many researchers believe these dietary patterns contribute to chronic inflammation, one of the major drivers of disease. Inflammation itself isn't bad, it's part of healing. But chronic inflammation is different. It's like leaving a fire burning inside the body for years. And over time, that fire damages tissue, stresses cells, and increases mutation risk. This is why anti-inflammatory foods have become such a major focus in cancer research. Not because food is a miracle cure, but because the internal environment of the body matters enormously. And some foods appear capable of supporting protective biological systems in remarkable ways. Chapter 3. The foods scientists are most excited about. Let's start with one of the most studied categories on Earth: cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale. These vegetables contain compounds called glucosinolates. When chopped or chewed, they form biologically active compounds like sulforaphane. And sulforaphane has attracted enormous scientific interest. Researchers have studied it for antioxidant activity, detoxification pathways, cellular stress responses, inflammation reduction, DNA protection mechanisms. Some laboratory studies suggest sulforaphane may help activate enzymes involved in detoxifying harmful compounds. Others suggest it may influence how damaged cells behave. Again, this does not mean broccoli cures cancer, but it does mean foods contain complex molecules that interact with human biology in powerful ways. And broccoli is only the beginning. Berries are another major focus. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. These fruits are rich in polyphenols and anthocyanins, compounds linked to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Oxidative stress damages cells over time. Antioxidants help neutralize unstable molecules called free radicals. Scientists believe diets rich in colorful plant foods may help reduce long-term cellular damage. Then there's green tea. For centuries, green tea has been consumed across Asia. Modern researchers became fascinated by compounds called catechins, especially EGCG. Some studies suggest EGCG may influence inflammation, cellular signaling, and oxidative stress pathways. Again, not magic, but biologically active. And then comes one of the most famous anti-cancer foods ever studied: turmeric. Chapter 4. The turmeric obsession. Turmeric has become legendary online. Some call it nature's chemotherapy. Others claim it cures everything. But what does science actually say? Turmeric contains a compound called curcumin. Curcumin has been heavily researched for decades because of its anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation is deeply connected to chronic disease, and curcumin appears to interact with multiple cellular pathways involved in inflammation. Researchers have studied it in relation to oxidative stress, cellular signaling, immune responses, tumor microenvironments, gene expression. In laboratory settings, curcumin has shown fascinating effects on cancer cells. But there's an important problem. Human biology is far more complex than a petri dish. Many compounds that look amazing in the lab fail in humans. That's why responsible scientists are careful. Still, the broader pattern remains important. Plant-based foods contain compounds capable of interacting with biology in extraordinary ways. And populations consuming diets rich in whole plant foods consistently show lower rates of many chronic diseases. That pattern appears again and again across nutritional research. Chapter 5. The blood vessel secret. Now we arrive at one of the most fascinating discoveries in cancer research. Tumors need blood vessels. Without blood supply, tumors cannot grow beyond a tiny size. This process is called angiogenesis. Angiogenesis means the growth of new blood vessels. Normally, angiogenesis helps heal wounds and repair tissue. But tumors hijack this process. They essentially convince the body to build blood vessels that feed the cancer. Once connected to blood supply, tumors can grow rapidly. This discovery transformed cancer science because researchers began asking, what if angiogenesis could be controlled? Some foods appear to contain compounds linked to anti-angiogenic activity in laboratory research. Foods frequently studied include tomatoes, green tea, berries, garlic, turmeric, soy, cruciferous vegetables. Tomatoes are especially interesting because they contain lycopene. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant pigment. Cooked tomatoes actually increase lycopene availability, and populations consuming Mediterranean-style diets rich in tomatoes, olive oil, vegetables, legumes, and fish often show better long-term health outcomes. Again, no single food prevents cancer, but dietary patterns matter. And researchers increasingly believe long-term nutrition shapes the biological terrain where disease either struggles or thrives. Chapter 6. DNA Repair, your body's secret superpower. Imagine copying an encyclopedia by hand trillions of times. Eventually, mistakes happen. That's essentially what your cells do. DNA replication is astonishingly accurate, but not perfect. Fortunately, your body has repair systems. One major repair system is called nucleotide excision repair. Another is base excision repair. Others repair broken DNA strands. Scientists discovered that nutrients may influence these systems indirectly by supporting cellular health and reducing oxidative damage. Certain vitamins and minerals play critical roles in DNA stability. Folate, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, selenium, omega-3 fatty acids. Leafy greens are especially important because they provide folate, which supports DNA synthesis and repair. Vitamin C-rich foods help defend cells against oxidative stress. Omega-3s from fatty fish may help regulate inflammation. The key idea is not that one food repairs DNA instantly. The real message is bigger. Your body is constantly trying to maintain stability, and nutrition helps determine whether those systems function efficiently or struggle under pressure. Chapter 7. The immune system connection. Your immune system may destroy abnormal cells every day without you ever noticing. Specialized immune cells patrol the body searching for threats. Sometimes they eliminate potentially dangerous cells before tumors even form, but cancer can evolve ways to escape detection. That's why immune health matters enormously. Researchers now study how nutrition affects immune regulation. Fiber-rich foods appear especially important because of the gut microbiome. Trillions of bacteria live inside your digestive system. These microbes influence immunity, inflammation, metabolism, hormones, even brain function. Diets high in processed foods may damage microbiome diversity. Meanwhile, diets rich in vegetables, fruits, legumes, and fermented foods may support healthier microbial ecosystems. And those ecosystems may influence cancer risk indirectly through inflammation and immune function. This area of research is exploding. Scientists are increasingly convinced the gut plays a much bigger role in health than previously imagined. Chapter 8. The most dangerous myths online. Now we need to address something critically important. Cancer misinformation online is everywhere. Some influencers claim cancer can be cured with diet alone. Chemotherapy is useless. Supplements cure tumors instantly. Doctors are hiding natural cures. These claims are dangerous. Food can support health. Nutrition matters enormously. But cancer is incredibly complex. Real treatment decisions must involve qualified medical professionals. Many patients require surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, targeted therapies. The smartest approach is not food versus medicine. It's understanding that lifestyle, prevention, medical science, early detection, and evidence-based treatment all matter together. False hope can cost lives, but ignoring nutrition entirely is also a mistake. The truth lies between the extremes. Chapter 9. The worst foods for long-term health. Researchers continue debating specifics, but several dietary patterns repeatedly appear linked to poorer health outcomes. These include excess ultra-processed foods, sugary beverages, chronic overeating, excessive alcohol consumption, low-fiber diets, highly refined carbohydrates, frequent processed meats. Obesity itself is associated with increased risk for multiple cancers. Why? Because excess body fat isn't biologically inactive. Fat tissue influences hormones, inflammation, and metabolism. Chronic insulin elevation may also create growth-promoting environments. This doesn't mean thin people cannot develop cancer. They absolutely can. But maintaining metabolic health appears increasingly important in disease prevention. Chapter 10. The Power of Fasting Research. One of the most controversial areas in modern health science is fasting. Researchers are investigating how periods of reduced caloric intake may influence cellular stress resistance, autophagy, insulin sensitivity, inflammation, metabolic health. Autophagy is often described as cellular cleanup. Damaged components inside cells may be broken down and recycled. Some animal studies show fascinating results related to fasting and cellular resilience. But fasting is not appropriate for everyone, especially cancer patients undergoing treatment. Nutritional needs vary dramatically depending on the individual. This is why medical supervision matters. Still, fasting research highlights an important principle. Constant overconsumption may stress biological systems in ways humans were never evolutionarily designed to handle. Chapter 11. Exercise, the anti-cancer tool most people ignore. One of the most powerful anti-cancer lifestyle factors isn't a supplement, it's movement. Exercise influences hormones, insulin sensitivity, immune function, inflammation, body composition, mental health. Studies repeatedly show physically active people often experience lower risk for several cancers. Exercise also improves quality of life during and after treatment. Even walking matters. The human body evolved for movement, but modern life traps millions in sedentary routines, and inactivity may quietly contribute to chronic disease over decades. Chapter 12. Sleep, stress, and cancer. Most people underestimate sleep, but sleep is biological maintenance. During sleep, your body performs essential repair functions. Poor sleep affects hormones, immunity, metabolism, inflammation. Chronic stress also matters. Stress hormones influence numerous biological systems. No, stress alone does not cause cancer, but chronic stress can contribute to unhealthy behaviors and physiological strain. Health is interconnected. Everything affects everything else. Chapter 13, the Mediterranean Diet Mystery. One dietary pattern repeatedly appears in health research: the Mediterranean diet, rich in vegetables, olive oil, fish, nuts, legumes, whole grains, herbs, fruits, and lower in heavily processed foods. Researchers consistently associate Mediterranean-style eating with better cardiovascular and metabolic outcomes. Many scientists believe its power comes from synergy, not one superfood, but hundreds of beneficial compounds working together over years. That may be the biggest lesson of all. Health isn't built overnight. Disease usually isn't either. Chapter 14, the future of cancer science. Cancer treatment is evolving rapidly. Scientists are exploring personalized medicine, genetic sequencing, immunotherapy, CAR T cells, tumor vaccines, AI-driven diagnostics, precision nutrition. Some researchers believe future cancer care may become highly individualized. A patient's genetics, microbiome, metabolism, immune profile, and tumor characteristics could eventually guide personalized interventions. And nutrition may become part of integrated supportive care, not as fantasy, but as evidence-based medicine. Chapter 15, what you should actually do. After all this information, what matters most? The answer may be surprisingly simple. No single food guarantees protection. No diet makes someone invincible. But decades of evidence suggest certain habits consistently support better long-term health. Eat more whole foods. Eat more vegetables. Reduce ultra-processed foods. Move regularly. Sleep properly. Avoid smoking. Limit alcohol. Maintain healthy weight. Manage stress. Get screened early. Listen to qualified medical professionals. Small daily choices compound over time. That's how biology works. Final emotional ending. Right now, somewhere in the world, a scientist is working late in a laboratory trying to understand cancer. Somewhere else, a patient is hearing terrifying news from a doctor. And somewhere tonight, someone watching this video may be wondering whether they can protect themselves or someone they love. Here's the truth. Human biology is unbelievably resilient. Your body is constantly fighting for you, repairing, defending, adapting, surviving. And while no food can promise immortality, the choices you make every day matter more than most people realize. Not because health is perfect, but because your future is shaped by patterns. Meal by meal, habit by habit, day by day. The modern world often sells convenience over health, but your body remembers everything. What you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how you live. And perhaps the most powerful realization of all, the fight against disease doesn't begin in a hospital. It begins long before that, inside kitchens, inside homes, inside daily choices repeated over years. Maybe that's why researchers around the world continue studying food so intensely, because hidden inside ordinary plants may be extraordinary biological power. Not magic, not miracles, but tools. Tools your body has evolved alongside for thousands of years. And in a world filled with noise, fear, processed food, stress, and misinformation, perhaps returning to the fundamentals of human health is more important than ever. If you learned something from this documentary, subscribe for more deep scientific storytelling about health, longevity, disease prevention, and the future of medicine. And share this video with someone you care about, because information can change lives. Thanks for watching.